The research station orbited Neptune's largest moon, Triton, a gleaming speck of human ambition against the frozen darkness. Inside, Dr. Ivy Chen stared at the data streaming across her holographic display, her brown eyes reflecting the dancing numbers that made no sense whatsoever. "Henry, you need to see this," she called across the lab, her voice tight with a mixture of excitement and unease. Dr. Henry Wade pushed away from his workstation, his tall frame unfolding as he crossed the sterile white floor. He'd known Ivy for 6 years, through their doctorate programs, through the grueling selection process for deep space research, through 18 months on this isolated station. He knew that tone. Something had rattled her, and Ivy didn't rattle easily. "What am I looking at?" he asked, leaning over her shoulder. "The quantum fluctuations we detected last week near Triton's subsurface ocean. They're not random, Henry, they're patterned." Her fingers flew across the interface, pulling up waveform after waveform, and they're responding to our probes. Henry felt his pulse quicken. For 3 weeks, they'd been investigating unusual energy signatures emanating from beneath Triton's icy crust. The other research teams had dismissed it as equipment malfunction or naturally occurring phenomena, but Ivy had persisted, running test after test, responding how? "Watch." Ivy activated the deep ice probe, sending a standard electromagnetic pulse into the frozen depths. On the display, the quantum field rippled, then pulsed back. Not an echo, but something different. "Something deliberate. That's impossible," Henry whispered. "That's not physics. That's communication." They looked at each other, the weight of the discovery settling between them. Every xenobiologist and astrobiologist in human history had searched for signs of alien intelligence. Humanity had spread across the solar system and sent probes to nearby stars, finding nothing but silence. Until now. "We need to tell command," Henry said, but Ivy was already shaking her head. "Not yet. We don't know what this is. We send a report now, they'll send a military fleet. You know they will." Her jaw set in that stubborn way he recognized. "We're scientists. Let's do science first." Henry knew she was right, even if protocol screamed otherwise. They had a window of opportunity, perhaps only days, before the next supply ship arrived, and their findings would be automatically uploaded to Earth Command. Over the next 72 hours, they worked with barely any sleep. Ivy designed increasingly complex signals to send into Triton's ocean. Each time, the response grew more sophisticated. Whatever was down there was learning, adapting to their attempts at communication. Henry built mathematical models trying to decode the patterns. The entity, if it was an entity, seemed to exist partially outside normal spacetime, flickering between quantum states in ways that violated every principle of physics they understood. "It's not life as we define it," Ivy said during hour 68, her eyes bloodshot but blazing with curiosity. "It's something else entirely, something that exists in the space between particles, in the probability waves before they collapse." "Quantum consciousness," Henry murmured, the pieces finally clicking together. "God, Ivy, it's not an organism. It's a phenomenon. Thinking, aware probability itself." They sat in stunned silence, watching the displays paint pictures of something humanity had no framework to understand. Not alien life, alien existence. On hour 71, everything changed. The quantum entity sent a burst of information so complex, so dense, that it overloaded their systems. As backup servers kicked in, Ivy and Henry watched in awe as the data resolved into something almost comprehensible. Images, concepts, emotions translated into mathematical language. The entity was showing them its nature. It existed across multiple points in space-time simultaneously, experiencing past, present, and future as a single moment. It had witnessed the birth of the solar system, the formation of Neptune and its moons. It had watched alone for billions of years, and now, for the first time, it had found something that could perceive it back. "Henry," Ivy breathed, tears streaming down her face. "It's been waiting. All this time, it's been waiting for someone to notice it existed." The profundity of it hit Henry like a physical force. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't spreading through the stars or splitting atoms or mapping genomes. It was this: the ability to see what should be invisible, to reach out and touch the untouchable, to acknowledge existence itself in forms beyond comprehension. As they worked through the night, building a more sophisticated communication framework, Henry realized what made this moment truly human. Not that they'd found the entity, They'd stumbled upon it by accident. Not that they could fully understand it. They couldn't, not really. What made this human was that they tried anyway. Ivy, exhausted but grinning, established the first stable two-way exchange. Simple concepts: existence, awareness, connection. The entity responded with something that could only be interpreted as joy, a fundamental vibration in the quantum field that resonated with something deep in their own consciousness. "We're going to have to tell command eventually," Henry said softly. "I know," Ivy replied, not looking away from the beautiful, incomprehensible patterns dancing before them. "But let's give it a few more hours. Let's learn what we can while it's just us. Just humanity reaching out in the dark saying, 'We see you and you matter.'" Henry nodded, understanding. This was the human imperative, not to conquer or colonize, but to connect. To find the strange and unknown, and instead of fearing it, to say hello. Outside the station, Triton continued its eternal orbit, hiding an impossible secret beneath its ice. Inside, two human scientists sat together in the glow of their instruments, teaching an ancient quantum consciousness about curiosity, determination, and the beautiful, stubborn refusal to accept that anything was truly unknowable. They had discovered something strange. They didn't understand it, not fully. Perhaps they never would, but humanity had never let that stop them before.